I can actually hear myself pretty well in here, too.
I'm going to start over.
Okay.
Hi, Cliff Yankovich from the Lowell Ledger. My guest today is Wendie Price, the Executive Director at Flat River Outreach Ministries, or as most of us know it, FROM. The mission statement there is, quote, to be the greater Lowell community hub where hope, resources, and gifts are shared. Wendie, pretend for a minute we're talking to somebody who's never heard of FROM. What exactly is FROM? When and why did it begin? And how are you living up to your mission statement?
Well, it's kind of similar to what you just said when you just listed out the mission. We are the community hub, and what that means is I kind of think of it as like a trading post.
Okay.
So when people have extra, so they bring it to us. So they maybe have extra food, they have extra clothing, they have extra time, they have extra money, right? So they have extra, they bring it to us, and then those that need that extra come to us and we distribute it out. So it could be they need some extra money to pay for rent, or they need extra food, or they want to purchase some clothing for nice prices in our thrift store. Or another thing that we exchange is hope, actually. So that kind of falls into a lot of these other things when it is rent or whatever, but also just a smile. You know, if you've got some joy in your heart and you want to share it, and some folks come to us and they are in their lowest place they've been in their whole lives in some cases.
Sure.
And to be able to talk to somebody who's going to smile at them and smile with them and kind of walk alongside them as they encounter whatever obstacle it is. Sometimes it's just a little bit of hope that they need too. So kind of like that trading post where those with extra
like
come.
that analogy. That's good. How long has FROM been in existence?
So it started in 1998
Okay.
in the basement of the church. It started with just the food pantry. And then a year later, in 1999, the thrift store was added.
And wasn't it the cooperative effort of
13 churches.
13 churches.
Yep.
Boy, I've been telling people 7.
Yeah.
When we first opened our business in Lowell, one of the things that impressed me the most, because at that time Flat River Outreach was just a block away from me, and I loved the fact that all the churches put in, because I've lived in a lot of small towns in Michigan, and you know, you'll have 5 churches and they'll all have 5 little food banks. And I'm not disparaging that, but how much greater the impact when it's the resources of 13 churches. That's amazing. Sorry, I got off on...
That's okay.
Well, speaking of, my next question was, how long have you been in the new location?
Well, it's not really new anymore,
well,
since we've been there since 2007, so about 17 years.
Has it been 7? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's been 17 years. So if you ever get a chance to talk to Ann Demick, who started the store, she tells this wonderful story when they moved to the current location, which was a assisted living building beforehand, that there were just a line of trucks and a line of people. Sports teams came and helped out. Everybody who had a pickup truck was just carting things back and forth from one side of the town to the other. And it's not that different than what we see when FROM is in need or the community is in need. You know, our community is just so generous and just pulls resources together and comes together and supports whomever needs it. So it's kind of threaded throughout the history of this organization that just people coming together consistently.
That is certainly the truth. Speaking, we should probably give the address.
Oh, yeah. 11535 Fulton Street East in Lowell.
It's sort of one of the last things you'll see as you drive.
That's right.
West out of town.
Yes.
What kind of services do you have available for people there?
So we have over a dozen programs. They include food, family support. We do a backpack program that's part of the family support. We do a Christmas support, medical loan closet, so you can borrow items for a day, for a year, for 10 years, it doesn't matter. These are like wheelchairs, crutches, things like that. We have our connections office, which is an opportunity to connect with resources across the county and state to support families that are encountering some challenges or obstacles. Of course, we have the thrift store, which is a wonderful program in and of itself. Not only does it help fund our other programs, but in addition to that, it is a program in and of itself. So if you're looking for back-to-school items or housewares or anything that you would need in a household, there's opportunity to purchase things at a lower price there because it's a thrift store. And then, of course, we have housing, Main Street Housing of Lowell as well in town here.
In case you're not aware of that, it's right across from, I still call it Ball's
I know,
Softy
right?
Cream. It's going to be Frosty Boy soon.
Yeah.
You took that building and gave it a facelift. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It is wonderful. Who do you serve? Do you have criteria in place? If somebody, I'm guessing that, is there a better term than working poor? Is that derogatory, or is that?
We just try to say, because it could be you just don't know. Different people have different, we call them like potholes in
Right.
life, right? Where you're trucking along and you're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you encounter this giant pothole, which we know Michigan has lots of potholes. But in some cases, people can rely on family members, or they can rely on maybe some savings they have or whatever. But we have a lot of people in our community that don't have either one of those things to rely on. And so what we do is we help those folks fill the pothole and then help them be on their way. So the people have to live in the Lowell area school district.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't turn anybody away for food, right? If anybody comes to us and they need food, we'll give people food no matter what. We don't want anybody going hungry. But when it comes to particularly the financial services and stuff, they do need to live in the Lowell area school district. And our income levels that we target are up to 300% of the federal poverty level.
Okay.
So what that means is for a household of one, that's like $45,000 of income per year. For a family of four, it's closer to like $93,000. And some people might say, wow, that's kind of high. Well, again, what we're trying to do, and we learned this through the pandemic, is that you have a number of people who are sort of teetering, right? So they're making it, but if something happens, an unexpected medical bill, an unexpected car repair, or something, then what that can do is start this spiral, this downward spiral that then could end in homelessness, literally, right? So the idea is we come along, that's kind of like that pothole, right? So we come along, we fill the pothole for them so they can keep going. And they probably will never need any resources from us again in the future. But we've prevented that household, particularly if you've got children involved or whatever, it just creates this whole snowball effect,
Goodness. Yep.
right? And so the goal is, let's not let that happen, because these folks don't have other resources to rely upon. Of course, the challenge, though, when you do that, when you help people that are at a higher income level, the level of income is higher, so then their bills are generally higher. So that we are feeling that on occasion when you help somebody that has a higher income, their rent, for example, if they're struggling with rent, might be a little bit higher level. So since raising our income limits, we have seen the financial service needs go up, but again, the goal is we want to keep people going so that they don't rely on or need other help. They can keep it going on their own. It's really just a hand up, not a handout, right? We're not consistently supporting the same household over and over again. That's not how it works. So, yeah.
If I may share a little personal testimony.
Yeah.
When I was a young man, I had moved to a new city. I was working 2 part-time jobs, and I was having trouble, and I know what it's like to go to a food bank, which is why we've jumped on the food fight, and we've been supporters ever since. And when you go to a non-governmental agency, number one, you said you get greeted with a smile.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're trying for help from the government, you might not get a smile. And I I think I went to the food bank 3 times. And the first time I went, I was really embarrassed.
Well, of course, yeah. Lots of people are.
Well, that's kind of what we're taught in America is if you need help, there's something wrong with you, and there's really not.
There's really not. And in fact, the way that we try to position it is the sooner you come in for help, the sooner you come to us, the better off the situation's going to be, right? So we can kind of get people connected to different resources. There's a lot of different options. If you wait until it's like so detrimental, then it really could, the snowball has already grown, right? Whereas if we were able to catch it early on, maybe it would be a little bit more manageable for everybody.
Fill that pothole faster, it doesn't get deeper.
That's right.
Did you mention that you actually help people with taxes?
Yes, well, I did not mention that, but yes, we do. It's tax season right now.
Well, it's that time of the year, and so it was sort of on the top of my head.
Yes, we are. People come and they can have their taxes done for free. They call 211. I think our appointments are filled up for this season, but for future reference, they can call 211 to make an appointment and get their taxes done for free. There's an income requirement each year for that, but yeah.
That's great. Do you know how many people or families you might help in a typical year?
Over 1,000 families, generally.
That's outstanding.
Across all of our programs,
Are you seeing any movement either way in terms of people who need help? Are your services more in demand, less in demand, or is it just kind of the same?
More in demand, I would say. So we've definitely seen, particularly in the food, in our food pantry, an increase there. So the usage of the pantry so far this year for January and February is up 28% compared to last year.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, because we've got the increase in usage and of course the increase in the cost of food that everybody's experiencing, actually our food costs have doubled this year so far compared to last year. So we're definitely feeling it, both in the increase in usage of the food pantry by the number of visits that people come. We allow our folks to come twice a month.
Okay.
And our philosophy is really, we're trying to emphasize healthy food. So we have healthy food guidelines, and we also try to emphasize fresh as much as possible. We allow our participants to select as many fresh fruits and vegetable items as they would like. And then, of course, they have the other items. They can select grain and a protein and so on, so that they, based on their family size.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about the other side of the picture? How many paid staff people do you have?
So we have 8 full-time staff.
Okay.
And then we have 7 part-time folks. And but I think that we are a small and mighty team, but I think it's important to point out that we have over 300 volunteers.
There we go.
And those 300 volunteers last year made up almost 40,000 hours.
Wow.
Which is the equivalent of 20 full-time staff members.
Yeah.
So really, truly, the stars of the show are the volunteers. And we simply could not do what we do without the volunteer workforce that we have. They are instrumental in every program that we have, every inch of the building. So it's really, a door gets stuck and, okay, which volunteer can we call to help us with that? So just a wonderful workforce that we have, and so many generous people, anywhere from, a few hours a month to, 20, 30 hours a week in some cases. It's just unbelievable, the level of faithfulness and dedication to the community and to the organization that we see. We're really so grateful for them.
Do you have any particular needs? I'm assuming that you're always willing to have more people volunteer. Are you looking for anything in particular? And also, how would they get in touch if somebody wants to get involved? Who do they contact? What do they need to do?
Yeah, so we always need more volunteers. And I think all organizations, all nonprofits are struggling with having enough volunteers. So we definitely, and I would say any skill level, any able-bodiedness, any capabilities that you have, we've got a spot for you, right? So anywhere from, we've got general needs like cleaning, maintenance things. We've got the thrift store, of course, that requires quite a few volunteer hours. There's a number of areas there, housewares, pants, sizing pants, just there's a number of areas there. The donation room and cashiers, we always need cashiers in the store as well. So, and if folks are interested, they can email volunteer@fromlowell.org. So again, that's volunteer@fromlowell, FROM, Lowell.org. And you can stop by as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to cover? Anything, food fights coming up.
Food fights coming up in May. So that's one of our major campaigns where we try to get the community involved, right? And it's North against South.
Well, I think
North.
you'd have to agree with me that the South side is by far the best.
Well, actually, I live on the North, so
do I.
I don't know.
Our business is on the South. We live on the North.
So, but yes, we'll be starting that in May, and so it's really a fun activity, and we do really want to stress as well that any level of involvement, even if you just shopping in the store is helpful, because as I said before, that shopping in our store, purchasing items in our store supports the other ministries that we have.
We can get a pair of jeans in your store for how much?
$3.
$3 instead of 30.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It really, I have to say, working at From has ruined me for shopping anywhere else. I look at prices of stuff, I go, what? I could get that for $1.50. I can't spend $20 on that. No way.
Excuse me.
So, yeah, and certainly food donations are always welcome. So we do want to, there's some information on our website, but anything that's, canned vegetables, anything like that, canned fruits. You know what's interesting? Mandarin oranges. Canned mandarin oranges are something that really some of our folks really enjoy. So, yeah.
They're a treat.
Yes,
they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, canned foods or food items. Again, we encourage people to volunteer, come volunteer with us, and of course, monetary donations.
Right, because when you purchase food, you have ways of getting it at better prices than.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have some business-to-business relationships that helps us do that as well. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Anything else on the horizon?
Well, we've got some really exciting stuff related to housing that we'll be talking more about in the coming months, probably more like this fall, winter season of later this year. But we're super excited about that, and we'll be more excited as we are able to share more on that. So more to come.
I just want anybody listening to know that I was trying to pull more information out of Wendie because this is a project I'm really excited. So all you're going to get today is a teaser.
A teaser. We will talk about it again for sure.
Well, thanks very much, Wendie. I would encourage anybody listening to get involved in some way, shape, or form with From.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.